Welcome to a 1v1 on Einhoven Country. This game is going to be Wulpenstein versus Malta001. These players know exactly what they're going to do this game. Scavenge and Soviet Shock Army insta-locked for both of them. I'm kind of surprised to see Soviet Shock Army locked. I don't know. To be fair, the ML20 is probably pretty good on this map. You can probably place it safely and effectively, depending on what your opponent does. Plus, the heavy mortar is good on any map, for sure, so... The PPSH, though, the shock troops, not really a close-range map. We'll see if he can... Well, depending, he can pick and choose the features, though. Pick and choose the features he's actually going to employ. The Sturmovik is alright, but it's a little overpriced, I think.
Squad awaiting orders. If you have a point, make it. HMG crew is ready. What shit do you have for us now?
Gonna see tier 2 opening from Malta, going double Maxims, and Wulpenstein. And Wulpenstein is going to go with, I've never heard that line before. I'm amused. Wulpenstein is going with 2 Volksgrenadiers. Sending his SWS to set up over here on the left, which makes me think he's probably going to go tier 3 this game. I don't know. If he does go tier 3, that might be a little redundant with the Ostwind, but he probably doesn't want to have to survive on just Volksgrenadiers and Jaeger-Light Infantry until Ostwind either. So I guess we'll see. German Pioneers are going to make their way right uncontested. Maxim in the building, second Maxim on his way left. This is a very strange strategy. Apparently this Soviet player cares only about manpower and no other resource because he hasn't captured a single point. Just ran straight for the victory point and house. This is really weird. I cannot imagine that this is actually going to work. I guess we'll see. Meanwhile, Wulpenstein taking tons of territory. He's already got all this stuff under his control.
Engineers ready for assignment.
New squad of combat engineers on its way to start doing some backcapping, I assume. Maxim is on its way up towards the top left, and will probably lose an engagement against 2 spread out squads of Volksgrenadiers. One in green cover, the other one's going to catch it in motion at very close range. It didn't set up at all. Wulpenstein makes a late reaction to it setting up. It doesn't look like he's going to get clear in time. They get suppressed instantly. They do look like they got out of its arc of fire, though, and there's the retreat. Successful flank by those 2 squads. Maxim will fail in that engagement. We're going to see a Maxim jump into this building right here, which would normally be kind of dangerous to do, but in this case it's probably fine since the Volksgrenadiers are not likely to be throwing a grenade this early. Even though the building is that small, it shouldn't be that dangerous. Until Wulpenstein is actually at a point where he's going to be throwing grenades, which is not going to be for at least another minute or so, because tech structure hasn't built yet. Tech structure in progress right there, and he is going to go Kubelwagen despite having spotted 3 Maxims. Kubelwagen versus 3 Maxims can be very hard to make useful. Very hard to actually get it to hold still and set up and shoot at infantry for any significant amount of time while under Maxim fire.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture.
Let's see if Wulpenstein can make it work. He's taking a lot of territory under his control. Finally, the Soviet player will capture his very first point at 4 minutes into the game. Resources are now coming in, so that's good, I guess. Extremely slow resource opening here for Malta this game, though. Now he's floating manpower, too. Maxim turns to fire on the Sturm Pioneers, but in yellow cover they manage to force that retreat before they have to reposition to safety. Volksgrenadiers taking the fuel point. Combat engineers have to pull away from them. With Maxims in both of these buildings, the Soviet player doesn't have very much mobility, not much capping power. Struggling to win even flank engagements against Oberkommando West, which are the flank engagements you should probably have the best chance of winning. Except against maybe the Sturm Pio squad.
Heavy machine gun team prepared for combat.
Sternpio's in green cover right here, trying to ambush those combat engineers if they advance too far. I guess this shed has no west-facing window? Is that right? Kind of hard to see. Yeah, that's a door right there. No west-facing window. The tree would probably block line of sight anyway. Grenade into the building brings the squad quite low. But this Maxim definitely has a line on those Volksgrenadiers. Looks like they might get suppressed. This Maxim repositions out of the shed, which doesn't have any east-facing windows either. Just purely north-south.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Enemy squad has us sighted.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
Machine gun ready.
These two Maxims making their way down the middle. Black half-track is on the field now. So, definitely planning to utilize that this game from the beginning.
The sector has been cut off.
Open up on us.
And up to this point, seems to be off to a great start. There is a field gun out, making its way up into this engagement, but it's already got 4 kills, forced 1 or 2 retreats before being forced to pull back to safety by that AT gun right there, and it should be able to get clear of the arc of fire before the second shot. So Flak half-track is pulling back to safety for repairs. Stern Pioneer squad's available right there, throwing a shoe mine down as well.
Enemy contact.
And, wow, a second AT gun. Second AT gun may be a little bit overzealous, but alright. Still no conscripts out. Manages to snipe the Kuba wagon right there, but territory is just awful. Soviet player doesn't have any resources.
Do you need something?
A couple idle squads is going to wait for healing to kick in, which is going to make his captain power even worse. And more time for these Volksgrenadiers to take control of the entire map. And this building is the only defensive position the Soviet player has on the entire map. Everything else is completely in Wulpenstein's control, which is giving him a huge amount of resources. He's up to 105 fuel already, with 35 fuel coming in per minute, which is extremely fast for Oberkommando West. He's got his second truck out, and it looks like he's going to throw up maybe Tier 2 next? I don't know. See what he chooses to do. Jaeger light infantry deployed out of this building as Wulpenstein hits 2 CPs, and Malta also at 2 CPs. Has not fielded anything yet from his commander. Access to shocks and the heavy mortar.
Enemy contact. Enemy sniper.
One of our AT guns has been neutralized.
Jaeger light infantry engaging from the north to clear a field gun and wipe a combat engineer squad, which I guess wasn't being monitored. Reinforced wire barricade down right here by those stern piles. They'll finally be forced to retreat by Maxim fire from over there. What is it? Alright. That squad actually retreated. Fortunate. Nope. There's the crit. Jaegers crit that squad on the way back to the base. Both combat engineering squads have been wiped. Shock troops move up to punish them for getting in range of that Maxim, however. Tossing the grenade.
Ready for deployment.
And there's one wipe. There's going to be 2 wipes if he doesn't retreat. There he goes.
Squad, listen up.
That squad needs to get clear of that Maxim in the building. The Flak half-track is moving up to try and force the issue. One AT gun has been cleared. The other one is currently sitting in the base and is going to move up to try to get some shots off. Once again, the shock troops have pushed away all the Jaeger light infantry. This third squad right here is going to toss infiltration grenades. Looks like they're not going to connect very well though, and that squad might just get wiped. Shock troops making a pretty grand entrance here, almost getting 2 wipes, forcing 3 retreats from Jaeger light infantry squads. They haven't really taken that much damage yet, but they will have to retreat away from the suppression of that Flak half-track, which is going to push Wulpenstein completely back into his base, where he's apparently had idle units for the entire last several minutes. No healing yet for Wulpenstein as he goes tier 4 over here on the left side munitions.
Battle damage estimates show the enemy at 300 points.
And with 125 fuel and 35 fuel coming in, Wulpenstein is in an extremely strong map control position right now. And a triple cap going against his opponent. He's about to have a 250 victory point lead.
Double check batteries on that mine detector.
We are ready for you. Have orders?
Every single Maxim that has been fielded is inside of a building right now. Double Maxims in that house and double Maxims in this one. If this strategy could not be immobile, inefficient enough, just putting one Maxim per building, apparently two Maxims per building is the way to make sure that you never take any territory at all. Except for the point between those two houses. Shock troops move for the cutoff. The second squad fielded wide towards the left side VP. Shock troops encountering Volks Grenadiers and Jaeger Lights over here on the left side road. Grenade toss. Infiltration grenade toss. Does minor damage. More infiltration grenades. Counter grenade. Oh no! He just walked right on top of that. I think the shock troops will take that one. Shock troops engaging over here on the left side are about to wipe a Volks Grenadier squad maybe. Yep, there they go. Grenade into this blob as well, and Wulpenstein is getting shredded by these two squads. Why did the flag half-track disengage from that fight? What was he thinking? He needed that to win this. He just got wrecked so bad. Everything Wulpenstein had on the field gets away with a tiny sliver of health remaining. That looks like it could have honestly been GG right there. He almost lost his whole army. His huge map control advantage is giving him a 12.5 minute Panther. A 12.5 minute OKW Panther. After a flak half-track. A flak half-track and Panther in 13 minutes.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
That is ridiculous. There's still an AT gun sitting right here on the road. Soviet player has a decent amount of AT at his disposal. Conscript squad fielded apparently. 13-minute first conscript. A little bit of map control is finally turning blue right here and the clock has slowed. Meanwhile, Wulpenstein is reinforcing and healing everything here in his base. SWS making its way back onto the battlefield.
Panther, ready for action.
And he's probably going to throw tier 2 up at some point for a forward reinforced point in healing, would be my guess. He has enough of a hold on the map that he could probably put it in a pretty aggressive location. Generally somewhere around here is what I've seen.
The enemy now have 200 points. Grenadiers upgraded.
Shock troops working on the center point. Couple squads still healing in the base. AT gun has been recovered by...
Standing by.
Wait. Okay, he crewed the AT gun with the conscripts and then merged the rest of the conscript squad into the AT gun. So that the conscripts died. Or like, are gone now. And now this AT gun is crewed completely by conscripts. Black half-track. Trying to push away the squad there in the middle. Shock troop grenade forces one retreat, but they're going to have to get out of there for sure. Maxim is engaging against the squad, sets up in green cover right there, and the flak half-track is just trying to keep its distance. The AT gun moving up into a more aggressive location, and the second AT gun's available. Wait, what? Over here,
AT gun here.
apparently. Just in case anything shows up on this road. Which could happen, you guys don't know. Panther's on the field, by the way. It's just sitting over here.
Infantry attacking in full. Contact! Enemy infantry! All set!
Black half-track taking AT gun fire, makes a late reaction. It looks like it might go down. AT gun shot scatters but hits anyway. Black half-track destroyed. Very late reaction right there. And another squad just got wiped by shock troops in the middle as well. Panther is moving up. Wulpenstein has been reduced. The 2 Jaegers, Volksgrenadiers in this house, and his retreating Sturmpyos. Nothing else currently alive, and there are now 4 shock troop squads on the field. That would explain, by the way, why Malta doesn't care about resources if his build is apparently just 4 Maxims, 2 AT guns, 4 shock troops. The amount of manpower he has to get together for that means by the time he can actually afford a tank, the game's gonna have been going for 25 minutes. The AT gun actually got a shot off on the rear armor of a Panther because of that next level placement up here, so joke's on me.
Squad, ready to move. Squad under fire!
Jaeger infantry move to clear the AT gun from behind as it moves to try and chase that Panther down, apparently. They'll wipe it eventually. These squads of shocks are making their way out of the base a little early. They haven't been fully healed or reinforced yet, but alright. Fresh squad of shocks fielded here as well.
Sniper fire! We're under attack! Enemy contact!
Jaeger light infantry definitely have to run away. There they go. Although it pulls those shock troops into the arc of fire of that tier 4 a little bit. And ooh, there's an Ostwind on the field. I didn't even know that. Ooh, just cleared the AT gun right there and forces a full retreat by the wounded shock blob. Up to 4 kills on that Ostwind already. Making a pretty good entrance right there, I guess. AT gun's gonna reposition slightly. The other one needs to be recovered somehow. I have to think about how to do that. Wait, did he just tech? He just tech tier 3. So he's not going infantry only this game. No mortars, by the way, fielded. I feel like this strategy would have worked a lot better on any other map. I also kind of think just stacking Maxims in buildings like this isn't accomplishing all that much. It doesn't even protect anything. Except for 1 munitions point. Especially this. I have no idea what he's thinking this is gonna help do, but alright. Can you put Maxims in a sniper nest? Probably not.
HMG crew is ready.
Maybe though, I've never tried.
We are ready for anything.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Jaegerlights taking control of the left side, VP and fuel. More Jaegerlights fielded here. Currently 3 Jaegers, 4 shocks on the field.
You need something demolished?
Tier 3 is about to complete.
Standing by.
Ostwind protecting left. Panther's also been fully repaired here by the tier 4 structure. Wulpenstein, I think, has switched off fuel transfer. No? Just has less coming in. Oh, he hasn't captured this yet. Once he captures this, it'll be coming in pretty quick. Why would you destroy that when there are Jaegers right next to it, Wulpenstein? Yeah, I mean, it's called Scavenge Doctrine. A shock troop blob walks right into an Ostwind that has not even moved for the last several minutes. One of them gets wiped. Grenade toss. He will react. Of course, he's retreating right through shock troops, so I'm not sure they're gonna get away. Volksgrenadiers moving up right there. Shock troops are too slow to rotate, and the Panther's gonna move to push them off the field. AT gun getting pushed back by snipes right there. Couple squads reinforcing and healing in the base. 2 up to full health. T-34 in production now.
Shock troops taking little fire. Bit by bit, we take back what is ours.
And the Soviet player will mostly just continue to hold his line and probe with shock troops, and I certainly don't know how what his plan is to do anything about the Panther or Ostwind with just shocks. AT gun is actually going to move up to try and harass a little bit, but the Ostwind is going to take this opportunity to blitz behind it, which it will do successfully, and it will continue wreaking havoc on this line. 16 kills, almost all of which are shocks, a few of which are team weapons. T-34, however, is on the field to counter. If the Panther doesn't get in range to support, that Ostwind may very well go down. Still not moving. Ostwind is extremely exposed and vulnerable and needs the Panther to come save it. It's on its way. Ostwind trying to get to safety, but it's not really pulling the Ostwind toward the Panther. It's pulling it kind of away from the Panther. So it's gonna die. Main gun crit though. Gonna force the T-34 to chase for a little bit longer. The Ostwind, rather than pulling the T-34 into the Panther, pulled it straight into a Stuka, which has apparently been fielded. Genius! Genius trap! That T-34 will never expect to find a Stuka waiting for it in the base. Ha ha ha! You fool! Oh, there's the Panther. A plane lands on it afterward, just for good measure. Fortunately, the Panther finally shows up. And destroys the T-34 after all of Wulpenstein's other vehicles have been killed.
It's time for action.
Alright, well the game's basically over. I can see the timer and the guy's gonna surrender, obviously. GG, I guess. And Axis wins.